So this little quickie is about creating more yin in a world that's yang. And we do this in yoga by holding positions for a few minutes at a time. Now, one of the places in the body where the connective tissue, which encompasses, embraces, and surrounds all of the joints, can get tight. Connective tissue is not elastic. Muscles are, but connective tissue isn't. So one way that I love to open up this area is by using blocks. And I'm going to start in the easiest position where one block is just below the shoulder, just above the shoulder blades, and the other one supports the head. Now, I won't spend as long in this as we can, but if you find that your head is pitching forward, your shoulders are rounded, or they're tight, even if you feel a little tight across the collarbones and the shoulders, this is such an easy and effective way to help the connective tissue, which is as strong as steel and represents 20% of our body weight because it encompasses everything, but to help it gently release and stretch. And the benefit of this is having more mobility in our joints. You try to relax all the rest of your body as you lie over these blocks, relaxing your face, and make any little adjustments that might make this feel a little more comfortable. Now, I'm going to raise my blocks in a minute because for me, as someone who's been practicing yoga for decades, I might be a little more open in the shoulders and the front of the chest. So, and if that's the case for you, next step is to put the blocks in a higher position. And now you can see the difference. My shoulders are farther back. Again, you want your block. If you're a woman wearing a bra, you know where that bra strap goes. And it's basically around the bottom of your shoulder blade. So I'm just fooling around here trying to find the sweet spot. And it's not entirely comfortable. But if we never bend our knees or stretch our spines, the connective tissue will assume whatever length and shorten to meet the needs. So that's why it's really important that we take the time, and Yin Yoga requires time for the connective tissue that surrounds every cell of your body. But what we're really focusing on here are the joints. It takes a while for it to release, to lengthen, to accommodate this new way of your joints mobilizing. So I've placed my feet in Baddha Konasana. This is optional. But when I do this, there's a gentle stretch of the connective tissue in the groin and the hip area. Of course, be sure to breathe in through your nose, long, full, and deep. And deep exhaling. Letting go. Now, when I tell you that the connective tissue surrounds everything in your body, it contains the life-giving energy that helps all your cells connect and communicate with one another. Nothing happens independently or in isolation of anything else going on in the body. There's a massive amount of coordination through the connection and the bioelectricity within the connective tissue. No small thing. All right. Let's remove the blocks. Flat out on your mats just for a moment to allow those benefits to be absorbed by your body. We're going to work on the hips next. We're going to bring the right leg up, pull it in towards your chest. Place your left hand on the outside of that right knee. Draw it across the body without rolling onto your left hip. I just want you to feel in that right hip and thigh, and we can change the juxtaposition depending on how your hip is today. If you bring it closer to the opposite shoulder, you're going to feel a lot more stretch. But find the spot that feels like the place that's going to give you the ability to release some of the tightness of the connective tissue that's covering the joint. So your big femur is covered in a continuous tissue that also overlays and encases your hip joint. Muscles are elastic and soft. Connective tissue is hard and inelastic. So we can have a very active yang practice, and that will work your muscles. Nothing wrong with that. We want both. In fact, the stress and the stretching of muscles applies a force on your bones that will thicken and strengthen your bones. So our entire body is not only designed for movement, it needs the movement. It responds to these measured stresses that will perform the necessary action to keep your muscles strong and flexible and to keep your joints mobile. We often see elderly people hunched over, their heads are pitched forward, they shuffle their feet. Often this is due to the connective tissue being tight in the front of the chest from being hunched over, and in the ankles from not activating, stretching, and mobilizing them. And inhale, come back to the center, draw that knee in. Let's bring the other knee in. Extend the leg down in front with your right hand on the outside of your left knee. Draw it across your body. And again, you're just taking it to the place where you start to feel some pull, never too much. And again, as I said, you can bring the knee a little higher up. You'll feel this in the joint between the femur, the long leg bone, and the joint in the hip. So it's a ball and socket joint. The more mobile it is, the better the dancer you can become. Well, that's if you like dancing. And I think the looser we are, the more we can enjoy dancing. It's a great activity. What's the expression? Dance like nobody's looking. Dancing's awesome for your joints, but it's a yang activity, whereas holding is yin. Yin yoga has the ability to also calm the monkey mind. If you're focusing on the area that's being stretched, not letting your mind wander around to what happened yesterday and what might happen tomorrow, try to remind yourself the only moment that exists is the present. And that's why we call life such a gift. Living in the present moment is a gift. Living in the past might conjure up some regrets, and living in the future might create worry or fear. So why go there? Be present and breathe. Inhale, come back to the center, draw that left knee in and draw the right knee in. And let's do a little rocking on the sacral area. And the sacrum's completely covered in connective tissue. So by massaging, rolling on it, you bring some energy into an area that can become so hardened and calcified. Now, nothing in the sacrum, of course, is going to move, but it's all attached to other areas. So enjoy this little self-massage. And then because the hips are so important for walking, getting in and out of cars, shower, bathtub, bed, blah, blah, let's keep the knees bent with the feet flat on the floor. Take your arms overhead in the cactus position. This will be the last exercise. Feet are wide apart. And just breathe here for a moment. So your arms in cactus. And then let your left knee fall in towards the right foot. And then extend your left arm straight up over above your head. And just breathe here. So now we're addressing the shoulder joint again. I mean, obviously when we're lying down, we're not really using the muscles, not developing strength, but we're stretching the muscles, but focusing on the connective tissue that encases every joint, organ, gland, and cell in your body. Try to bring that left knee over to the right as much as you're able. No pain. Back off if you're feeling any at all. Couple more breaths here. And then bring that left arm back into the cactus position. Slowly come back to the center. And now release the right knee, bent knee towards the left, and extend the right arm straight up. And you're really trying to work that right bent knee down towards the floor to stretch the connective tissue that is encasing all together the femur and the hip bone to offer you more freedom, more mobility by stretching the connective tissue and by raising the right arm straight up. We're releasing the connective tissue that surrounds the humerus, your arm bone, your upper arm bone, in the arm socket. So your shoulders and your hips are the only two ball and joint, ball and socket, So the top of the bone, referred to as the ball, the socket is the inside of the joint. Your shoulder and your knee are the only two ball and socket joints, which is why we can have so much mobility in this area. Now, if you've had any surgery or injury to either of these areas, please modify to support and benefit yourself rather than be aggressive and force. There should never be any force in yoga. Effort, yes. Force, no. Couple more breaths here. And releasing. Bring your arms slowly down. In Yin Yoga, there are no fast movements. And once again, I would invite you to practice Shavasana. As an option, you can take your blocks, pressing them together underneath your thighs, right up against your butt, and turn your palms open, facing in the up and open position. This externally rotates your arm inside of the socket, and then just do a quick scan of your body to be aware that you're not holding, you're allowing the floor to completely support and hold you while you allow the benefits of what you have just done to be integrated into your bodies. Letting your eyeballs sink into their sockets, separating the biting surfaces of the teeth, the lips, letting your body be soft and heavy. And maybe add a little Buddha smile, just letting the corners of your mouth turn up ever so slightly. And as always, thank you and thank yourself for taking care of your most valuable possession, your number one form of transit, movement, and the house of your soul. You're worth it. Have a beautiful rest of your day or night. Namaste. Stay as long as you like.